addressing his new role with the Miami Dolphins and if he was ever approached for a similar role by the Cowboys. Here was his response.
I think the Dolphins were wise in understanding my relationships around the league and knowing that I have information that they don't have or can't get. And I think they were smart in taking advantage of that, whether it was through me or through somebody else. The Cowboys have never elected to do that, at least with me. You know, maybe they have with others, but no, I don't feel there's a conflict. But I will say I'm pulling for the Dolphins.
He's pulling for the Dolphins. Dan Orlovsky's with us now. Are Aikman's comments an indictment? Yes.
First of all, good morning to Dan. We want to say good morning.
Dan, you're lousy.
I didn't see you this weekend. I found you when UConn was the basketball capital of the world a week ago.
Correct.
I didn't see you this weekend, didn't hear from you or anything. I just wanted to say that. But now you can go on to your football point. It's good to see you. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, hold on. Okay.
I believe he's trying to
these
talk
comments by Aikman an indictment on Jerry Jones and the Cowboys? What do you think?
I do not find them to be an indictment. Great to see you, Stephen A. as well, Shay as well. You'll hear from me tonight, hopefully by 11:30 p.m. I don't find this to be an indictment on Dallas. I think there's a couple things. One, players certainly of Troy's caliber being in some type of these advisor roles feels like it's being a little bit more common nowadays. I know obviously Tom Brady with the Las Vegas Raiders is in an ownership role, so he's got some of that advisor and or consultant element. Yeah. I'm sure part of it. He's not doing it in New England, probably because my guess couldn't become some of an owner in that. But I do think it's a little bit more common nowadays. I think the second thing in Dallas is it's a family business. I mean, if you just the chain of command in Dallas feels like it goes Jerry Jones, maybe to his wife, Stephen Jones, somebody else that has Jones. And so like it's very much so the family business. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I don't think the Cowboys
Jones
are taking this massive miss. And then the other point that I wanted to talk about, Stephen A, is like, is it maybe a little bit too close to the vest? He's one of the great Cowboys of all time. If you bring in one of the great Cowboys of all time, and there's a long list of them, does that mean you have to open the door for another person, another ex-great Cowboy that wants to have a say in the organization? And then do you have to say yes to that person? So I think like it's the Pandora box of
there's very few that are on the level of Troy.
Does it mean that it's opened up to everybody else?
I'm sorry, Dan,
well,
you're
I get
lousy.
where you're coming
Dan,
from,
you're
but that doesn't mean that it's any less egregious that the Dallas Cowboys have not capitalized on the presence and the expertise of a quarterback, a former quarterback who happens to be a 3-time Super Bowl champion, who, by the way, is still intimately connected to the game because he's calling games and giving color commentary every Monday night for the last several years here and every Sunday when he was at Fox. I mean, what the hell are you thinking? You capitalize off of the assets that you have. This is one of your own if you're Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, it's not just his family. Jerry Jones considers members of the Dallas Cowboys as an extended family. If that would apply to anybody, it would be Troy Aikman, who is a brilliant football mind. We are incredibly, incredibly lucky to have him. And we have to sit up there, and I'm going to say this on national television to the bosses at ESPN. We need to cherish the people that we have. I don't think Dan Orlovsky's going to be here too much longer, to be quite honest with you, because this man knows his damn football, and somebody's going to get smart enough and scoop him up. Somebody is going to come to their damn senses and give Louis Riddick a GM job ahead of football operations because, damn it, he deserves it. Somebody's going to scoop up Ryan Clark, who's obviously a brilliant football analyst. They're going to scoop him up. We have very elite minds here in the sport.
Okay, we can just stop the bullshit there. Well, hello there, good people and Eagle fans. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. I see Lady Libra in the house, double dipping. Appreciate you, Lady Libra. We got Alan Williams, A Crown, Holly Pierce. What's up, Holly? Marcus Blackmore, what's up? We got Dirty Nasty Sanchez. Overkiller, what's going on? How's everybody doing this evening? We've got mega pulls. Okay. I don't know what you're pulling with the mega, but hey, we got Dallas Cowboy for life, Gilly, Broken Halo in the house. We've got Joey. What's up, Joey? How are you doing? We got Victor. Oh my God. Is that the Victor? Victor, where have I been? I've been right here, bro. Victor, where you been? Are you still cray-cray or have you gotten some help? I'm just asking, buddy. You know, shout out to you, Victor. How you doing, man? So we have, I'm going to try and take a frown and turn it upside down. Okay. Look, it hit me. So you got Troy Aikman. Okay. Troy Aikman, former Dallas Cowboy great, at least the number 2 best quarterback that they've ever had. And no, all you Dak Prescott haters, I'm not going to say because Dak's the best one we've ever had. I didn't say that. Roger Staubach is, in my mind. And I'm going to say, I remember watching Roger Staubach, okay? I remember Roger Staubach getting beat the hell out of him. Not that Troy Aikman didn't either. But literally, it was a different game. And Roger Staubach was incredible. Changed the game. Changed the game. Hey, Mark, today's my birthday. James Snyder, today's your birthday. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Happy birthday to ya. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. James, happy birthday. And many, many more to you. Okay, so here's where I'm going to kind of go with this a little bit. Now, the Dan, you're lousy, sitting there saying, well, if they opened up the door for Troy Aikman to come in here, then of course everybody. Okay, first of all, there's not very many people on the level of Troy Aikman, okay? But we've had guys who are former players, like Marco Colombo was offensive line coach. We've had Charles Haley coming through, working out with guys on a regular basis. You remember famously Taco Charlton when Charles Haley questioned his football IQ and his desire to play. He basically said, who's this old guy? Yeah, well, people, I think Taco is in the USFL right now, so maybe he should have listened. Oh, man. Hello, road trip friend. It's Momo in the house. What's up, Momo? Momo, I got some noise counseling headphones, okay? Noise counseling ones. Okay, these ones are so good that you can supposedly shoot off a shotgun and won't hear it. So I think maybe there's a chance that they'll work with you. That maybe there's a chance. Okay. So it's kind of bullshit. The Cowboys are always bringing back people. And you'll remember after Jerry Jones showing his ass, remember he said that actually he was going to make Jimmy Johnson a consultant. Now, I don't know exactly how that worked out or what kind of counseling he's doing, but you know. Okay. So here's my thing. Maybe there's a chance to still use this relationship. Okay? So the Miami Dolphins, and this is probably one of those things that scare the Cowboys, is when Stephen Jones talked about being in cap hell, well, we don't think the way the Rams are building an organization, a team, is the way you go about building a team, because at some point the bills come due, and we don't want to be in cap hell. Well, cap hell is the Miami Dolphins, and I will say for Troy Aikman that's a good gig to start with. In the same way, Christian Parker, you've got only one way to go is up. Okay, you right now, the Miami Dolphins, this has never happened before, where a team thought they were building and had everything. They went out and got the best of the best, okay? They thought that, Brian Flores, that he was the problem. He couldn't coach. Although he had, the band of misfits playing pretty well for him and digging into what he was doing. And maybe had they stayed there with him, they would have had better results and not spent so much money. because they went out there and they picked up Tyreek Hill. They had drafted Jalen Waddle. They tanked for Tua. They ended up getting Bradley Chubb and Jalen Ramsey. They had top tier players there. They thought Mike McDaniels was the boy genius, and he was going to take them to the Super Bowl. But, he dressed like he was going to the mall like a teenager and things. And when it got cold outside, he's bundled up. The players are looking at him like, this mother helper's supposed to be leading us in battle? He's over here shivering. Man, I ain't got no sleeves on my arms and stuff, man. I'm out here battling, and he's up here, like Nanook of the North, bundled up and everything. See, that's why Shoddy does things like doesn't wear sunglasses, because he learned from his dad. That relationship with the players is everything. They got to believe in you, that they will run through a brick wall through you. Now, I've slipped and run into a brick wall, and I'm going to tell you it hurts. Okay, don't do that. But that's what a leader does. And they failed. They failed miserably. And so now they're starting over. The salary cap is $303 million. They're spending $179 million of it on people who aren't here. Thomas Garrett, what's up? How are you doing, man? $179 million. They have $131 million to pay the top 51 players on the roster. Bro, that's not even averaging $3 million a player. It's all veteran minimum. So for Troy Aikman, what better job to start with? What better job to start with? That's a perfect one. We ain't got nowhere to go but up. And he's helping to pick the GM, the coach. But maybe the Dallas Cowboys can use that relationship with him. Maybe Troy Aikman's the ace in the hole with Jaden Brooks. They need cap relief. They need draft picks. Troy knows the Cowboys. The Cowboys know Troy. Troy is, a trusted member working with them. Help a brother out here, Troy. And you can root for Miami and still help out the Cowboys. We're in different conferences. Maybe that's how they mend the fences. Troy, look. Brooks, it's money. It's money. Yeah, you need money. Brooks, by the time you rebuild the team, he's going to be old. We can help you. Let's help each other out, Troy. Let's start doing this shit together, because maybe there's some things that you can use to make you look better, and maybe there's some things we can use to help us. Pick up the phone, give us a call. Let's see what we can work out. That would be my take on this. And I think that maybe that's, because again, we usually trade a lot with the Raiders because of the relationship that Jerry used to have with Al Davis. That was our pipeline. Relationships matter. They really do. Now, I'm going to go ahead. We've got all kinds of shit that's happening. We still have our 30 for 30 visits going on. We are 2 weeks and 1 day. 2 weeks and 1 day from me picking up Momo at the train station. Our journey begins at that moment. I don't know how it's going to be. I don't know how I'm going to be after it. It's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy. Now, I'm getting some updates, updated equipment because I want to be light, agile, and I want to get better sound quality. So I've actually ordered a Rode wireless Go 3 setup. It's 2 wireless microphone transmitters that are supposed to be extraordinary. Okay, so I hope they work, and I hope we can get a good signal there at the draft so we can live stream from the draft. But we will definitely check and see. So I want to get on my soapbox here, first of all, on making the case that the Cowboys, as always, are messing up. Now, Jane Slater says, don't worry, be happy, because the Cowboys have time to get George Pickens done. Let's check her out.
You know, it's hard to say, Tom. I mean, I'm thinking back to last year, we thought the Micah Parsons deal was getting done until it didn't. Word of advice for George Pickens: don't enter Jerry Jones's office without your agent. Tell him to pick up the phone and call David Mulugheta. Look, when you listen to the guys on this team, he is a critical part of this offense. Now, Dak Prescott used the word vital to describe him, and it was CeeDee Lamb who talked about him in the offseason, saying he doesn't care if he gets paid more than him. He just wants him on this team. And then as for Jerry, where he stands on it, you heard some of his comments there. Just reading between the lines, Tom, I get the sense that he wants him here. He seems optimistic. And though team sources have told me Pickens at times has been habitually late to meetings, on the field, it's a move that's paid off for Dallas by making that trade last season. There was skepticism about bringing him in. I found him thoughtful, well-liked in the locker room, and he's a big moment weapon. Length, strength, explosive after catch, and the ability to stretch defenses vertically. Look no further than that win over Kansas City on Thanksgiving. You know, he was relatively quiet until the fourth quarter, and then he hauled in that 39-yard catch on a 3rd and 8. A few minutes later, he had a monster toe tap catch for the 2-point conversion to help them extend the lead. This was a nice one. Let's see this right there. And with 2:13 to go, the game was tight. Look at Prescott. He hit him on that crucial 3rd and 2 for 13 yards to help seal it. Now, if you looked at how Dallas moved in free agency, Tom, there doesn't seem to be panic as it relates to the wide receivers room. If anything, I think they've been intentional with what they've done. Of course, they got Javonte Williams extended, but they focused solely on defense, and I think that's a good thing.
I think that's a good thing, too. Now, let me ask you this, okay? Let me ask you. I'm trying different camera angles and things here, okay? The whole George Pickens situation here, okay? I keep hearing people talking about George Pickens is a luxury, okay? You know, the Cowboys, they need help on the defense. George Pickens is a luxury. So let me ask this. In 2000, I think, or 2001, the Cowboys were looking for a luxury in Joey Galloway. They traded 2 first-round picks for Joey Galloway, and he didn't bust a grape. Y'all remember that? Okay. Do y'all remember when we ended up signing T.O. to a big contract after he left Philadelphia because we were looking for a luxury? We also signed like Terry Glenn at that time. Y'all remember that? Yeah, you remember that? Miles Austin, we paid him a big chunk of money too. And he had rubber bands for hamstrings. And then the Cowboys were looking for another luxury, and they traded a first, second, and I think a third for Roy Williams. Looking for that luxury, right? I think I remember the Cowboys trading a first-round pick for Amari Cooper, right? So here we have a guy. Let me just. Can we agree that these were the quarterbacks that were thrown to him in Pittsburgh? Kenny Pickett, because everybody's always picking it, and Mitch Trubisky. That's his 2 quarterbacks that he had his rookie year. Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, and Mitch Trubisky. What would you expect a guy to do with those guys throwing to him? And then his last year in Pittsburgh had Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
What would you expect him to be one of the top wide receivers in football with those guys throwing to him? I'm asking for a friend. Frank has been throwing your name around. Oh, well, is that all he's throwing around, my name? Usually throwing pictures and videos there, Victor. Okay. Watch out for Frank Joseph. After all these years, okay, what, am I supposed to be living my life with looking over my shoulder? Okay. Frank gonna do what Frank gonna do. So would it be interesting? Oh, actually, let me go through this list. Let's go through this list here right now. Let me name a few. Let me do a few names here. Let me pull this up. Let's see. Chris Olave, Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, Nico Collins, Drake London, Travis Kelce, DK Metcalf, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Stephon Diggs, Puka Nacua. All of those guys that I just named have less yards over the last 4 years than George Pickens, who was literally having nobody's throw to him for his first 3 years. George Pickens has averaged over 1,060 yards a season with bums throwing to him until Dak Prescott. He is currently eighth in yardage over the last 4 years in the NFL.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Let me play this clip here. This was in Pittsburgh, people. This was in Pittsburgh. 193 yards. I hope I don't get copywritten.
Touchdown, 86 yards. Struggled mighty.
Let me turn off the volume here. But just watch this. This is George Pickens. George, look at him go. Look at him go. Look at him go. Look at him go. You see this, right? You see this, right? Look at that shit. Look at that shit. Look at that body control. Look at it. Look at this. Hold it. Look at this. Toe tap. Come on, man. Come on, man. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? People, what are we doing here? Okay. The worst season George Pickens has had in his career, okay, was his rookie season, 801 yards, 15.4 yards per reception, 4 TDs with a 48% success rate. And this is when he was supposedly being a problem child, okay? He has never in his career averaged under 15.3 yards per reception with bums throwing to him, okay? Bums. You were willing to pay Miles Austin a big contract. You were willing to go ahead and pay Michael Gallup after a 400-some yard season and tearing his ACL. So I ask you, why is it we're having a hard time paying him? Jalen Waddle Jalen Waddle doesn't have as many yards as George Pickens had. He had 2 in the Miami Dolphins throwing to him. And and before any of you start saying, that's okay, we can just trade him, man. We got Ryan Fenoy. He's good. Did you see how good Ryan Fenoy is, man? Yeah, Ryan Fenoy, man, he's phenomenal. Bro. No disrespect to Ryan Fenoy. He had a good season, 420 yards. That's the number 3 wide receiver. But he is a poor man, Cedric Wilson. And I don't mean that in disrespect. But I remember Philly 500. Dak Prescott's always got great talent, man. He had Cedric Wilson. What? Cedric Wilson? Cedric Wilson was the number 3 wide receiver when you had Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. Nobody covered him. That's why he got 600 yards. And guess what? Ryan Fenoy had the same situation here. He had a good running game with Javonte Williams. More yards than Saquon Barkley last year. And you got George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. Ain't nobody left to cover Ryan Fenoy. But if you think Ryan Fenoy is going to do what George Pickens did, you smoking some good shit. I mean, some really good shit. Receivers like this are few and far between. And I don't understand why it is we're sitting here, making it so hard to pay this guy that we don't even pick up the phone. Give him a call. Find out what they're looking for. This is what's ass backwards about the Cowboys that drive me crazy. What are we doing? The only people in front of him over the last 4 years, let's go down the list, okay? George Pickens is sitting at 8, right? Justin Jefferson, who's ass. I don't want Justin Jefferson because he's ass. Number 1, Jamar Chase. Can't disagree with that one. Followed by CeeDee Lamb, Amon St. Brown, A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams. Those are the only guys that have had more yards receiving than George Pickens over the last 4 years. And 3 of those years, he had sorry-ass quarterbacks thrown to him. Now, if the Cowboys recognized Joey Galloway, T.O., Roy Williams, Amari Cooper, you went crazy trying to get those guys. But you'd be willing just to let this guy piss him off, make him not show up for training camp, and lose him? See, I remember us being excited about signing Brandon Cooks. Oh, my God, we signed Brandon Cooks. He gets 1,000 yards everywhere he goes. Yeah, but how old is he now? Y'all remember Noah Brown, a.k.a. Clifford Franklin? Y'all remember in Jacksonville, I think it was? I don't know how Dak saw where to throw the football. He's clearing, drops it right in his hands. And Clifford Franklin throws it up. A rainbow that gets picked up and run in for a touchdown for the game winner. They put me in time out on the other channel. Big Spang Dog, I didn't see it. I don't think you said anything crazy. You good, dog. That's some good shit. Me either, Nick, but they put me in timeout. Okay. I don't know who put you in timeout. I'm sorry. It wasn't me. Totally ass backwards. Commanders have a longer Super Bowl drought than the Cowboys. Yes, and so do the San Francisco 49ers. They should trade George Pickens for a second-round pick and get a wide receiver. Okay. Why do I talk? They should take a second round pick. Okay, hold on a minute.
Do you speak any English? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Wait a minute. They should trade George Pickens for a second round pick and draft a wide receiver out of Indiana. The Cowboys gave up 2 number ones to try and get Joey Galloway. Cowboys paid a king's ransom to T.O. The Cowboys gave up a first, a second, and a third for Roy Williams. The Cowboys gave up a first for Amari Cooper. And you say, just trade this guy for a second round pick and draft a guy. Do I have that right? Do I have that right?
Situation requires is a whole lot more, and you shut your mother ass up.
James Snyder, Mark, my mom has cancer, has spread through her body. She's going to hospice, going to see her tomorrow. Oh, James, I'm sorry. Sending prayers to you, man. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Spank has talking about his Cheerios. The ladies don't want his nuts, honey. His honey nuts. Okay. All right. They're getting no O's from him. That I'm sorry. That makes no sense. To draft a rookie. Okay. And I'm not saying the guy's not good. But you're looking at a rookie out the box versus a polished George Pickens that already knows the offense and the quarterback. That was doing 4 catches, 193 yards. Okay. Moving right along here. Interesting take. Now this is one of those ones where you kind of like, oh, okay. This is like TMZ-ish. But allegedly, here it is. If you want to try and connect the dots, Avril Reese is looking for rentals in Dallas.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Does that mean he thinks he's going to be drafted by the Cowboys? That the Cowboys are going to move up and get him? He'll probably go second. And he's probably going to be working out with our pass rush specialist, after the draft. So it's probably why he's doing that. But it sounds good. It kind of sounds good. C. Holly was brave enough to say it was her. We're friends now, Holly. So if I put you in timeout, that makes us friends? Does that work with Momo too? That's a troll, Mark. Oh, okay. Mark, hate to interject politics in it, but Jerry and his what? Jerry and his what? I'm going to say this as my wife comes up the steps. Okay? I love my wife. Oh my God, I love my wife. I love her to death. There is nobody that I would rather be with. But do I love every single thing about her? Sometimes, there's some shit my wife doesn't like. It's okay. There's some shit that, right, honey? Wouldn't you agree? There's some shit about me that you don't like. But you love me, right? That is true. See? So there's things about the Cowboys and Jerry Jones that I don't like. I don't go along with everything. I'm not happy about everything. When the shit hits the fan or anything else, you don't really like that, okay? So Jerry and his politics I'm not a Cowboy fan because of Jerry Jones. I am a Cowboy fan because of Roger Staubach, Bob Lilly, the Manster, Ed Too Tall Jones, Harvey Martin, the Doomsday Defense, my dad, Tyrone Holmes. That's why I'm a Cowboy fan. You know, that this is, you know, the nose picking. Jerry Jones is like the nose picking of the relationship, right? You know, the scratching your ass and your belly hanging out. Okay, that's Jerry Jones. Okay, I don't cover that shit up. I don't want to see it, right? So that's the thing right there. I would trade Pickens, but nobody wants him for $40 million a year, so we're stuck with him. At least draft his replacement, though. You know, I'm going to say, wait a minute. What are we talking about here? Wait. Just stop for a second. What is it that George Pickens does that says we're stuck with him? That he's the worst person in the world? Did you just see Puka Nacua going to rehab? Do you see DJ Metcalf punching? What? Okay, right. My wife said, yeah, y'all be mad as hell if somebody else got him. But did you see DK Metcalf hitting a fan? You see Stephon Diggs and all his shit that he does, right? You see A.J. Brown checking out, reading books on the sideline and, you know, always being a distraction. You're going to honestly tell me that George Pickens is a bad guy because he showed up late in Vegas and then showed off on the field? What? Are you crazy? I'm sorry. Are you crazy? You know, they say talented people are crazy. You know that, right? You know that, right? Damn, what's the artist that cut his Da Vinci? Not Da Vinci. No. What is that? Damn, he cut his ear off. One of the greatest artists in the world. Yeah, let me cut my ear off. Are you crazy? Yeah, but I can paint. Right? Look at me. I'm very creative and I'm a little crazy. Okay? My nickname was Crazy Mark, FYI. Okay? Because they didn't call me Crazy Mark because they thought I was sane. They thought I was a little crazy. Don't forget Hill. Oh, yeah, Tariq Hill. Yeah, what about Tariq Hill? Tariq Hill and all of that. Look, I'm married, but I got 5 baby mamas the same year. And I'm punching people on the dock and getting, yeah, okay. So y'all out here saying, oh, we should sign Tariq Hill. First of all, the dude may not ever play again because he's got nerve damage and waiting for another knee operation. But y'all ready to jump on, get Tariq Hill. But no, George Pickens? Are we crazy? Seriously. Can we get those likes up, people, for Mark? Thank you, Lady Libra. Okay. I don't know. I don't even know where to go with that one. Okay. I just don't even know where to go with that one. On our 30 visits, okay, we have another one. Another one. Arizona cornerback, Traden Sykes, a nickel defender who can play safety, has visits with the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Falcons, the Panthers. I'm sorry, he already visited us. He's also going to see the Falcons, the Eagles, the Panthers. He's also seen the Titans, the Rams, and the Cardinals. And yeah, there's that. Okay. And we had another one. Did I miss it? Who else did I miss? I missed the other one. We had another 30 visit. Well, the other 5 would be easy. The other 5. What other 5 there, Big Spank Dog? Oops, he did it again, Dirty Sanchez. Van Gogh. I'm sorry, Van Gogh. Thank you. Van Gogh cut his ear off because he chewed on his brush and painted with a lead-based paint. See? Crazy. Still. He cut his ear off. I chew on my pencil too. I'm chewing my pen, and hell, probably we're getting plenty of lead in our food these days as well. So, yeah, maybe we're all just kind of crazy because of our food or what they call food. But that's another story. Well, it would be easy if he was 11 years in. I agree. We need pass rusher too. Well, we definitely need pass rusher. And I still think that the Cowboys will be revisiting Max Crosby. I think that you can definitely think about that one. I still think the Cowboys, for all their faults, and, you know, people are saying that the Cowboys haven't done anything on here. One thing I can say about the Cowboys that has been good is they have not done shit in free agency forever. And the Cowboys, when they have something bite them in the ass, they go the other direction. They're scared little biatches, okay? And after they signed Brandon Carr, at that time I think it was a $50 million contract, which was big contract. That was a big contract back then. You know, free agent. They thought, okay, yeah, we got a shutdown corner. And then they moved up to get Morris Claiborne. They thought we got a great secondary. Morris Claiborne was ass. And Brandon Carr was decent, but he wasn't like Dion. And you know, since that time, the Cowboys have not signed a free agent that's not been their own for more than $10 million. I don't even think it's been more than $8 million. They don't do it. The Cowboys have spent the least on outside free agents over the last 10 years. Okay? Which is crazy that they've been actually able to. 49 fan, Max Crosby, you haven't paid Pickens yet. Actually, they have paid Pickens. Pickens' money is already accounted for, $27.5 million, bro. If they were wise, they'd get him a long-term deal, which would drop his $27.5 million to maybe 8 or 9, and have $20 million to pay Max Crosby. How about that? Right? But for the Cowboys, we never do anything in free agency. We usually are watching our players go sign elsewhere. I mean, I think about Lyle Collins. I think about Amari Cooper leaving. I think about Dorrance Armstrong. I think about Dante Fowler, Stephon Gilmore, Tyler Biadasz, Tony Pollard, Zeke Elliott, Tyron Smith, and nobody being signed in like. You know, the reason why the Cowboys get so many comp picks is because they're usually letting go. And if you don't understand, the way a comp pick works is if you lose a high-valued player by their contract and their playing time versus what you sign, if you don't sign somebody of like value, you get a comp pick. You notice how the Cowboys are always getting 3-4 comp picks every year? That means they had more talent leaving, getting paid, than they were bringing back in. You understand that, right? That's how you get comp picks. Next year, we're projected not to get any comp picks. Why? Because we held on to our good guys. That's first. And the Cowboys have made some moves that make them better than usual at this time of year. And the one thing you can at least count on, I've killed them about free agency, but the Cowboys have had more hits in the first round than I think anybody else in the NFL since 2010. The only ones you look at and say, they just absolutely sucked, is Taco Charlton and Mozzie Smith. Everyone else of theirs have been at least a Pro Bowler. When you think about CeeDee Lamb, you think about Tyler Smith, Tyler Booker, you think about Micah Parsons, you think about Tyron Smith, you think about Dez Bryant, you think about Travis Frederick and Zach Martin. That's a lot of Van Der Esch. That's a lot of guys that have been Pro Bowlers or All Pros. I'm okay with the Awuzie. Awuzie wasn't. He was the second round. Awuzie was the second round. He was the first round. We took Taco in the first. I was there. That was in Philly. Because that was when Drew Pearson was on stage and he did the whole diatribe of killing the Eagle fans and everything. And it was Awuzie because it was the second round. Because I was in the second row right there and it was so loud inside, I couldn't hear what Drew Pearson had to say. All I could hear was Cowboys suck. Cowboy from the Eagle fans over there. That's all I could hear. Button messing scrub. No Super Bowl. Better than usual. So what is usual? Oh, I know. Get the wild card in Dax Cruiser. You know, Big Spank Dog. It ain't like your team. Wait a minute. Let me pull something here. Hold it. Oh boy, let's see. You know, Spank Dog, FYI, your team all time is 646 wins with 660 losses. Your team has a losing record all time. Okay? Okay. And you know you just came off of a 5-12 season, okay? Okay? Yeah, 5-12. In 23, you had 4-13. In 22, you were 8-1. In 21, you were 7-10, and you won the division because everybody else was ass. Yeah, Dak Prescott was injured that year. In 2020, you were 7-9. In 2019, you were 3-13. In 2018, you were 7-9. In 2017, you were 7-9. In 2016, you were 8-1. I'm sorry, 8-7-1. Bro, you've had one winning season. One winning season in the last 10, Big Spank Dog. One winning season. You realize that, right? You got 2 division titles, one of which you won with 7-9 record because everybody else sucked. So I don't know why you have the feeling that you have the need and the right to come in and trash the Dallas Cowboys, and especially my quarterback. You know how many damn quarterbacks you've done gone through since Dak Prescott? Do you, punk? Do you? I mean, you had eyebrows. We got one of your better ones on our roster right now. You had Alex Smith, who was a pretty good quarterback. You messed him up. You had Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is always the place card holder and is at least good for 3 or 4 games. He couldn't even get through the first game. You had probably the most cringeworthy team song, put your left hand up, knowing that you ain't got no deodorant on and you stink. What the hell gives you, I mean, I can, the Eagles fan, yeah, I take that shit from them. They at least won a Super Bowl. They won 2 since the last time we did. And they've been to 4 since the last time we did. I can give them some credibility. You had a one-hit wonder. Seriously. You guys have been so bad. You had Jack Johnson. About the only team Jack Johnson hasn't played for, I guess, is the Dallas Cowboys. Didn't you have him twice? Twice. You took Carson freaking Wentz, and had you not played him, you might have made the playoff because he choked for you. Bro.
Situation requires is a whole lot more, and you shut your mother ass up.
Come on, Big Spank Dog. You good people, but you ain't got nothing to crow about, man. You do realize that you lost not once but twice to the Dallas Cowboys last year. And understand, bro, you were about due to have a good season. You were about due. It happens about every 10 years for you. You had RG3, his rookie year. Great season. And then it was due for another one. And more than likely, you're going to be ass this year again. Dan Quinn will get fired, and you'll be finding somebody else off the scrap heap. Scrap heap. Damn. And what's that top 5 get you, Alan? Momo. Listen, I'm getting fired up. Okay, I'm getting my ammunition ready to bitch slap you. Okay, I'm getting warmed up, man. Because I know you're gonna be coming back to you. Look, the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones. What did they do? What has your team done, Momo? What has it done? Nothing. Zero. Zilch. Zingo. You still haven't caught up to the Cowboys in Super Bowls. You had a great run in the 80s, bro, that rolled into the early 90s. That's it. End of story. Damn. Just like y'all been doing this offseason, practice squad players. Okay. Well, it's amazing how our practice squad players lit you up. When you guys, remember, I'm old enough to remember that this time last year, everybody was saying that the Commanders, oh my God, the Commanders, they're one of the top teams in the NFL. Commanders, oh my God, Jalen Daniels, his second year. Terry McLaurin, oh, they got Deebo Samuels and his baby. Oh, they signed Laramie Tunsil. Oh my God. They're bringing back Zach Ertz. Oh my God, the Commanders' offense will be unstoppable. They're going to be great. Year 2 of Dan Quinn. That defense is going to be stout. What happened, man? Big Spank Dog. What happened? Bro, seriously. What happened? Oh, and thank you, Sugar Daddy. Momo. Hey, man, we going to win the division. We're going to start out 7-0. 7-0. Did you get 7? No, you didn't win 7 games even. Oh. Okay. I'm just checking. Okay? All right. It's now time for our daily dose of dishing on the Eagles. And it seems like the odds-on favorite right now is come June 1st, A.J. Brown will be leaving the building.
Let's dive in with some Graziano oats, and let us start with the Philadelphia Eagles. How much chatter was there about A.J. Brown around the various swimming pools that you guys are hanging out in Phoenix?
A lot. The sense everyone seems to have is that after June 1st, when the cap hit would be less, the Eagles would consider trading him, and the Patriots are seemingly the team that everyone wants to connect him to. So Mike Vrabel was talking somewhat openly about it. Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni kept repeating the same thing, which is A.J. Brown is a member of the Eagles, like as if they were programmed to do it. Mm-hmm. So, but the cap hit drops significantly for Philadelphia if they wait till after June 1st. So unless somebody comes before the draft and blows them out of the water with an offer, I think this picks up again in the summer, and New England's the spot to watch.
Dominique, help me with both sides of that. Let's start with the Eagles. If the Eagles trade away A.J. Brown, and we may get some clues here depending on what they do in the draft,
sure,
take some receivers, et cetera, et cetera. But what would that mean to you? What would that mean for the Eagles, who are a Super Bowl aspiring team, if they trade away A.J. Brown?
Yeah, I mean, I think the automatic response is that they got a little bit worse, but I imagine that with the new offensive coordinator, they'll try to construct the offense around Devontae Smith as being their number one. They added Hollywood Brown in the offseason, who's another dynamic athlete that they could make plays with. And of course, they still have Saquon Barkley, but I think it does lessen the power of their offense. But sometimes if the offense can evolve some, it can still be just as or more effective, because fundamentally the best part of this Eagles offense when it was at its best was the O-line. So that's the most important part. Getting that right, I think, allows everything else to fall into place.
If you're Howie Roseman, are you trading A.J. Brown?
Nope. I'm calling in A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, and Sean Mann. We have a little family business screening.
Okay.
And we're going to sit there and say, hey, we're going to either succeed together or we can all be gone. So A.J. Brown's too talented. At 29 years old, he is a frontline difference maker and a cautionary tale. Braz mentioned Mike Vrabel. When they traded him in Tennessee, they're still trying to replace him. They tried it with Treylon Burks. So we're in the business of collecting good players, and let's try to make it work. You have a new offensive coordinator. Let's reset it.
You mentioned, by the way, the Vrabel of it all. Ironically, but not coincidentally, he would be on the other side of this, proposed thing if it happens. What would that mean in New England, Dominique? If all of a sudden you add A.J. Brown to this Patriot team that was in the Super Bowl last year, what does that mean?
It's all the things that Mike T just said, just for the other team. He is a top-line playmaker. I think he also mentioned that he's 29, which is close to 30, which is the age where people tend not to love paying their high-profile ex-receivers anymore. But I think he still has something in the tank. When he gets opportunities and deep routes and contested catches, there are very few players in the league as dynamic and effective as A.J. Brown. So I think this team gets better offensively if they can add him to the lineup.
Yeah, the key thing to pay attention to is the price. The Eagles are not of a mind of...
So, they're saying that they should keep... Now, see, here's the difference. I'm trying to understand this. They're saying that the Eagles are a better team keeping A.J. Brown. Weren't the Eagles, a little bit stressed on cash? Aren't they trying to pay, Jalen Carter and things like that? And... couldn't they use the cash, right? But they're not saying he's a luxury. They're not saying that they should move on. They're not saying that, he's got problems in the past, right? They said, let's take him in a room, sit him down, and work it out. Yeah. Been waiting for Dak to be benched for 11 years, poor thing. Yeah, they sure have been. On a final note, we'll go ahead and talk about Dak Prescott. I've been told that I haven't been treating Dak the same way with everything that's going on. I will say that Dak Prescott confirmed that, the wedding is definitely off, okay? And he is filing for joint custody of his kids, of his two daughters. And having been through a marriage where there were kids involved, you will always be tied to that other person. My first marriage didn't work out, but I'm grateful for her, because had the two of us not been together and her having our kids, I wouldn't have the two children that I do. So that's going to be the connection that the two of them will always have. And for the betterment of the kids, it's better that they get along. And it's certainly better if he is part of their life. Unfortunately, we have a lot of players out here who are, as Cop Pizzle would say, making some babies all over the place. And what they players find out, that it's not the same when you're not playing football. You got all these kids, you got these baby mamas that you got to pay, and now you're not bringing in money anymore. And it's a mess. So be smart out there, all right? Understand that a baby's not like a car. You can just take it back to the dealership, turn it back in. A child is very needy and needs you to be there, part of their life. Very expensive. and a lifetime commitment. And I'm grateful that I got 3. Already good people. I appreciate everybody being here. And I just brought Vizio 55-inch TV. It's awesome. It's like ultra high definition. It looks amazing and it's big. Just brought it today from Walmart. That's great, DaCosta. But let me warn you, man, if the picture is crystal clear and all that, you might not want to watch my YouTube channel. Because you get up close to all this. Now it looks better than usual because I thought I was doing something good. I was like, let me edge my stuff up a little bit. Let me cut up, let me edge the mustache and everything, right? Trying to clean it up. Got the long eyebrow because there's always, when you get my age, you always start to get a few eyebrow lashes that are like 2 inches long, and they start curling up, and then I catch my wife just kind of looking at it. Like, oh, is it another one? And then you kind of grab a hold of it like, damn, look at it. Look at that. It's really long. Okay, so I got rid of all that stuff. And she saw me and she's like, what did you do? I said, look, I was trying to make my face pretty. She's like, no, I like the wild man look. I guess she likes Sasquatch. Go figure. All right, good people. Thank you, Mark, as always, good people. Have a good night. No, thank you all for being here and being part of the show. I really and truly appreciate y'all. And we've got 2 weeks and a day till Momo tries to take over the channel. And we get ready for the draft. Peace out.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year start the same old thing again.